Becoming excellent in closing sales is an inside job. It begins within you. In sales, your personality is more important than your product knowledge. It's more important than your sales skills. It's more important than the product or service that you are selling. Your personality determines fully 80% of your sales success. This is easily proven by the fact that there are always salespeople who are achieving high levels of sales volume with a highly competitive, expensive product, even in a depressed market. At the same time, there are people with exclusive products in buoyant markets who are selling poorly. In order to become an excellent salesperson, you must be mentally fit. Now, mental fitness is very similar to physical fitness in several ways. Physical fitness requires proper diet and exercise. Mental fitness requires a proper mental diet and regular practice. The more mentally fit you become, the happier you will be, and the more you will sell under any circumstances. Top salespeople have high levels of self-confidence and self-esteem. Self-confidence is the natural outgrowth of liking and respecting yourself. The better you feel about yourself, the more confidence you will have in prospecting, presenting, and closing sales, and the more money you will make. Without self-confidence, it's almost impossible to be successful in selling. If you lack confidence, you'll come up with every excuse to avoid talking to prospects or taking any action where there's a possibility for failure or rejection. But remember, the more you like yourself, the more you like others. The more you like other people, the more confidence they will have in you. The more confidence they have in you, the more likely it is that they will buy what you are selling. We always feel better accepting the recommendation of someone who we feel likes us as opposed to the recommendations of somebody whom we're not sure about. We always prefer to buy from people who we feel care about us. The more you like yourself and care about yourself, the more you will genuinely like others, and the more successful you will be with them. Now, you must take charge of your own life. Salespeople accept 100% responsibility for themselves and for everything they do. They accept complete responsibility for their activities and for their results. They refuse to make excuses or blame others. They refuse to criticize or complain. Top salespeople say, if it's to be, it's up to me. Sometimes I ask my sales audiences, how many people here are self-employed? About 10 or 15% of the audience raises their hands. And then I ask again, how many people here are really self-employed? And one by one, the audience realizes what I'm getting at. One by one, they raise their hands. They all realize that they are all self-employed. The biggest mistake that you could ever make is to ever think that you work for anyone else but yourself. From the time you take your first job until the time you retire, you are self-employed. You are the president of your own entrepreneurial corporation, selling your services into the marketplace at the highest price possible. Your company has only one employee, yourself. Your job is to sell the highest quality and quantity of your services throughout your working life. In a study done in New York some years ago, they found that the top 3% of people in every field looked upon themselves as self-employed. They treated the company as if it belonged to them personally. They saw themselves as being in charge of every aspect of their lives. They took everything that happened to their company personally, exactly as if they owned 100% of the stock. The sales manager of a Fortune 500 company once told me an interesting story. He said that he was with his top salesman negotiating the final terms and conditions of a $200 million contract with a major client. During a break, the client pulled him aside, the sales manager, and asked, referring to the salesman, "That man owns your company, doesn't he?" The sales manager, knowing the salesman was a bit surprised, he said, "Well, how do you mean?" "Well," the client said, "in all my meetings with him, he constantly refers to the company as my company and my people and my contract and so on. He talks like he actually owns the whole company. Is that true?" My friend, the sales manager, smiled and said, "Yes, in a way he does, because that's how he feels about the company." So no matter what company or industry or field you're in, you must always recognize and accept that you are your own boss. As the president of your own personal services corporation, you are 100% in charge of everything that happens to your business. This means that you are in charge of training and development and continually upgrading your skills. You're in charge of sales and marketing and production and quality control and personal organization and personal efficiency. You're the boss. It's absolutely amazing how many people see themselves passively rather than actively. Instead of taking charge of their lives and changing things that they don't like, they wait passively for the company to come along and do it for them. The great majority of adults do not invest in their own personal and professional development. They don't read, they don't listen to audio programs, and they don't attend courses and seminars. They expect the company to do this for them, not only to pay for it, but also to give them the time off to upgrade their own skills so that they can earn more money. Go figure. One of my recommendations to my audience members is this: take all the training you can get. Use every job you have as an opportunity to learn more skills that you can use for the rest of your life. Be aggressive about upgrading your knowledge. If your company offers you any training opportunities, accept them and seize them immediately. Don't delay. Every new skill you learn is an investment in your own future. Everything you have in your life today is a result of your choices and decisions up until now. Your current situation is a result of both your actions and your inactions in the past. The amount that you're earning today is the result of what you have done and what you have failed to do. Sometimes the things that you fail to do, like completing your education or upgrading your skills once you start work, have a greater impact on your future than the things that you actually do. The difference between winners and losers in this area is quite clear. Winners always accept responsibility for themselves and for the consequences of their actions. Losers never do. Losers always have some kind of explanation for their problems or for why they're doing poorly. Losers have a disease called excusitis, which we define as an inflammation of the excuse-making gland. It is invariably fatal to success. Once a person is infected with excusitis, instead of making progress, he makes excuses for every problem and difficulty in his life. Now, winners are different. Winners are solution-oriented. They're always looking for ways to solve the problems and deal with the challenges that they face each day. They continually try new things. If one thing doesn't work, they try something else. They never consider the possibility of failure. If you want to be the best, then you must be prepared to work hard. A major difference between successful salespeople and average salespeople is that successful people work much harder than the average person. In author Thomas Stanley's research into self-made millionaires, he found that fully 85% of the successful people he interviewed attributed their success to hard work. Over and over again, when successful people are interviewed in any area of life, they say things like, "I was no smarter than other people, but I was willing to work harder than they were." Average people want to work hard. They intend to work hard. They're planning to work hard sometime in the future. They even claim that they work hard, and they complain about how hard they work, but they don't really work very hard at all. If you want to be the best salesperson you can be, you must never waste your time. The average salesperson today wastes fully 50% of his working time. According to the research, he comes in a little later, works a little slower, and leaves a little earlier. He spends much of his working time in idle chit-chat with coworkers and personal business and reading the paper. He drinks coffee and surfs the internet. At best, the average salesperson works about half of the time. Winners are different. They arrive a little earlier, they work a little harder, and they stay a little later. They work through their lunch hours and coffee breaks. They work in the evenings and they prepare in the mornings. They make every minute count. You must pay the price of success in advance. H.L. Hunt, at one time the richest man in the world, owner of more than 200 companies, was once asked for his secret of success on a television show with a friend of mine. He replied, "I have started and built hundreds of companies. In 50 years of experience, I have found that there are only two things necessary for success. First, decide exactly what you want. Most people never do this. Second, Determine the price that you're going to have to pay to get what you want, and then resolve to pay that price. Top salespeople are absolutely determined to succeed, and they're willing to pay the price in advance. Some time ago, a large insurance company had a sales competition every year in the month of November. Everyone who hit the target, which was about 35% above their monthly average for the year, received 2 weeks vacation in the Caribbean as a bonus. Every year in November, during the sales contest period, the sales force came alive. They worked day and night to qualify for those 2 weeks in the sun. Salespeople who had had average sales throughout the year became superstars for that 30-day period. One year, the insurance company went back and reviewed the sales of each person who qualified each November. They made a startling discovery. It turned out that the average salesperson was selling 3 policies a week during the year, but in the contest period, they increased their sales to an average of 4 policies a week. By starting a little earlier and working a little harder, the salespeople who qualified for the Caribbean vacation were selling 1 extra policy during the 40 to 50-hour work week. Now, one of the greatest attributes of an excellent salesperson is their ability to keep on keeping on. Top salespeople have above average willpower and determination to succeed. They have the ability to keep on keeping on in the face of disappointments and setbacks. They're willing to pay the price of success in advance. They're willing to work hard. They're willing to go the extra mile. They know that there are never any traffic jams on the extra mile. The highest paid salespeople realize that every bit of success that they aspire to must be paid in full in advance. They realize that there's no such thing as something for nothing. There's no fast, easy way to be successful. The only way to get to the top is through hard work sustained over a long period of time. Many salespeople are led astray by stories about people who have gotten into a particular field or made a particular investment and made a lot of money in a short period of time. These examples of quick money are very rare, and in most cases, the people who made a lot of money lost it just as quickly. As they say, easy come, easy go. One important fact that you must always keep in mind is that there's no fast, easy way to make money. Henry Ford once said the 2 most important qualities for success in business are patience and foresight. And the man who lacks patience is not cut out for success in competitive enterprise. There are no get-rich-quick schemes that work for anybody but the person selling them. So don't waste a minute of your time or your life trying to cut corners or create financial shortcuts. Chasing the will-o'-the-wisp of the quick buck is the surest way to destroy your character and undermine your career. The worst thing that can happen to a salesperson is to make a lot of money during an economic boom, especially at the beginning of his career. As a result, he gets the idea that making money is easy. For the rest of his life, he searches for the next opportunity to make easy money, and he very seldom succeeds. Many of these early successes spend the rest of their life trying to find another quick, easy way to make money. They never settle down to do the hard work and make the necessary sacrifices to achieve enduring success. Enduring success only comes as a result of persistent, hard work over an extended period of time. There's no easy way to become successful. And lastly, you must believe in yourself. Top salespeople have high levels of belief in themselves. They believe in their products. They believe in their companies. They believe in the value of their product or service to their customer. There seems to be a direct relationship between how much you believe in your product or service and how easily you can convince a customer to believe in it as well. It turns out that your customer can never believe in your product more than you do. And as William James of Harvard said, belief creates the actual fact. This is why it's so important for you to sell something that you believe in, something that you believe is good for your customer to use or to own. Everyone has had the experience of selling something that he didn't particularly think was very good. If you've had this feeling, you'll never be successful in a competitive market. If you cannot put your whole heart into what you're selling, you can never sell very much of it.